Hey guys. I always feel like lately every time I make a new review, I'm like giving an excuse. Well, this one's a pretty big excuse. A couple days ago, I found out that my mom, uh, she has a cancer, a tumor in her breast, and so I've been very emotional. I haven't really been up for making a review or even watching the show. But I watched it this morning, and so I feel a little bit better about stuff right now. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the episode. It was called Walking Claude. Well, I said that was so wrong. God, Dead Claude Walking. Sorry, that's really mixed up. But this might be a short one. Sorry, guys. Especially because I'm actually kind of on time. Because tomorrow the new episode comes on, but I'm still technically on. I'm good. So this episode opens up, and Sherlock, he's over there. He has a skull in his hand. Like, I mean, not in his hand. He has this skull like on this little pedestal, and he has a drill in his hand. He's like, he keeps drilling. Like all the episode, he ends up drilling with the skull. I think he's trying to do something with it, but and he's getting these texts from Randy, and it took me a minute to figure out who Randy was, because I forgot it's the kid he's sponsoring, because he's an addict, right? And so, the base of this episode is that Watson, she goes, if you remember, he gave her his trunk of unsolved cases, and she found one that she wanted to investigate on, and there's this woman who introduced herself as gay. She's like, I'm gay, and Holmes goes, I'm not, and then she goes, um, okay, but I'm my name is Gay. I'm called Gay too. So I thought that was a little funny. She's like, well, it works well that way. I can I can like basically kill two birds with one stone, and I thought that was amusing. And it turns out she's a very she's a God, I can't think what it's called. It's something in the science field. It's something that Joan was looking over, because this case is dealing with this rock that was in a picture of one of the cases. And the reason why I love this episode so much is because it ends up uh, giving us very big clue. I mean, very big connection with an ACD home story, which is dealing with the magpie. And if you guys read that one, it's great. It's pretty great. To be honest, just read all the home story. It might take you a while, since look, mine, I'm right here. Where am I at? See, I'm right here. I've been reading a lot though, but I've read a lot before. So, I think that one. Let me look. I'm gonna look through, because I have the moment to be able to do that. See if I can find it. I know it's so far there. Good lord. I don't think I've gotten to it yet. Skip through this read through. No, I can't find it. Why can I not find it? But it's one of the stories, and it's pretty great. So you should read it if you haven't yet. Um, yeah, but yeah, I don't think I've gotten to that one yet. But I can't right now. I'm trying to talk. So yeah, it ends up, they think they're looking for the magpie, and in this way, because they end up, the lady who goes to the crime scene, it's apparently still has the rock that they found in the picture. Like, that's unheard of. It's been some years since that case. Actually, when he got that case, he was high at the time working on it, and Joan figured that out, because he ended up like smudging ink, like his mark ink some way, and so Joan and Gay go to investigate, and they find out it's there, and Sherlock ends up wanting her to steal it. And the reason why he's not there is because he has to take care of Randy, because Randy thinks he's gonna start shooting up again, and it's because of his ex-girlfriend who came back into his life, who was the whole reason why he was shooting up in the first place. And I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, um, So then, yeah. So she texts Sherlock a picture of the thing because it's there, and it turns out to be an old fossil of a very rare kind of dinosaur. Because they take it to this gallery, this like museum, where this guy who's very, he knows pretty much everything you need to know about fossils, and um, you know, um, everything you know about fossils and the different types. And so they take it because they get it who takes it? I think it was one of Watson had to get someone else to help her to take the fossil. And excuse me, the fossil. And so then he goes and so she gets this guy. He's someone who works at a hospital, I believe. It's either a hospital or it's like a morgue or something. So they take it and they put it in an MRI or something, and that's when they find the full body skeleton of the fossil. And it turned out to be an infant skeleton of it's basically like a mini T-Rex kind of, and it's very rare. I forgot what the actual title was, but apparently it, in a way, it signified the title of this episode. And I'm gonna pull it up again on my phone because I forgot. I was watching it at the same time as I was looking at something, but it's the dead Clade walking is actually something very important in like real lifetime, not just something they made up. There it goes. I looked it up earlier because I had forgotten. They even explained it because they ended up getting this group of people together who are people who have looked into this business, this fossil business, because they were looking for the magpie, which is the person who they thought were looking for it, because this man got the magpie, who they were originally for, had ended up getting the fossil stolen from evidence because it was supposed to be a government official who had came and retrieved it because they were going to get it. They're going to do something with it. And so he ended up getting it stolen, and that's when it became apparent that the dead Clade walking was something highly important, and that there were people looking after it for a certain reason, because they didn't want people to know about the discovery of it, and because it would literally mess up a lot of things, especially for people in the science community who have written previously or are known for their work in that. It would pretty much just screw them up, pretty much. And so the dead Clade walking, I'm reading it on my iPhone. Not iPhone, my iPod, and it refers to a group of organisms which survived a mass extinction but became extinct a few million years after the mass extinction or fell to recovery in numbers and diversity, which is basically this dinosaur that they found, the fossil of the dinosaur they found, which ended up being like an infant of a extinct race. Like it was probably like the only one left. And so yeah, that was the big thing. And so they get these group of people together who they found were looking in, either knew about it or were looking into that, and they asked for them to swab their cheeks. One of them just completely denies being able to, like, pretty much rejects the idea of that, letting the police do that, even though they just set the little boxes in front of him, like, here, swab a sheep, we need your DNA to know, because the magpie ended up dying, like somebody killed him and destroyed the whole thing, and there was DNA left at the scene that was not the magpie's. And so yeah, so then they went and did, and then it was one guy who they started to suspect after he walked out and wouldn't swab his cheek, but it turned out it wasn't him, because when they did the DNA match from the people who swabbed, it turned out to be this man in a wheelchair, and this man in the wheelchair obviously couldn't do it because the man got clubbed in the head and like got shot a couple times. Like, he's in a wheelchair, he couldn't do it, but someone had put his DNA there somehow, and surprise, surprise, and it ended up being one of the people who were so willing to do it, because he didn't think he would need to be suspected about it because this other guy was looking suspicious. But yeah, so that it turned out to be the guy in the wheelchair. So they didn't think he was falsified. So it was the other guy they were going to trial into. There's no dice basically on it because he wasn't his DNA wasn't there, and so then they turned over to the guy in the wheelchair, so he couldn't do it, and he lawyered up anyway. So then the lawyer had evidence saying that didn't happen at all because he was at the museum doing a tour, and so then they started looking closer. Who else could have committed the murder? And they found one other person, and it was the guy that they went to talk to in the museum because he's an idiot, and he used a weapon that both him and the man in the wheelchair had access to, and the man had his DNA on it because he had already used it. Like he had his hand, like I guess he had something from his hand or something, or he got his hand cut off on it, and he ended up using that to kill the magpie and destroy the fossil. And they couldn't really get evidence because they didn't have his DNA anywhere on the crime scene, but they literally kind of blackmail him into it, and they made it happen. And so they're like, Job, like, I can't arrest you because I don't have the evidence, but he basically layered it on and on, basically told him how he did it, and basically told him that they were going to find a way to do it, and the dude just caved. And the reason why he did was because Sherlock, he had texted Watson, or he left a note for Watson because he left this book on her bed when she woke up that morning, and it had the map of the museum inside of it, and he circled a spot, which is like the center where all the dinosaurs are displayed, and all they're all composed together. It turns out he had a completely different agenda in mind. He was trying to sell. I mean, he was trading bones from the ones on the. He was trading bones, falsified bones, that were not actually from the dinosaurs in the black market, and that fossil basically falsified the idea that some of these creatures existed, or it's illegal to sell things like that on the black market. So it was just basically he just scammed anyone, and he was going to ruin his reputation. He was going to ruin the guy who he also wrote one of the books for, like a history book for college students. Like, it's basically going to ruin both of their careers. And so he had to end up killing him to get the fossil back and destroy it. And yeah, and while that's going on, Sherlock's also getting frustrated and angry because he's not used to having someone who depends on him. He's not used to being someone's Watson, basically, because he's being Randall's sponsor, and he keeps texting him and wanting him, and he ended up shooting up. The kid ended up shooting up, and it wasn't because of Sherlock. It's because his ex-girlfriend was someone who actually got him into shooting up. When he met her, she was the first person he ever shot up with. And also, he also, what did he do? Yeah, he shot up with her, and then when he wanted to get sober, like she had left or something, and that's when he decided to get sober. Then she came back to his life, and now he's having that issue, and him and Sherlock Sherlock didn't really know what to do about that. Like, he didn't know if he was supposed to talk to him, give him his honest opinion. And when he did give his honest opinion, the kid just, like, he wasn't happy with it. So he ended up shooting up with his girlfriend, and because she wants to live with him. That was the thing. And Sherlock's advice to him was to basically tell her to leave, because you're trying to be sober. You can't be sober with someone who's still a continuing addict. And so he ends up coming back to Sherlock at the end of the episode after they solve the case, and he's like, he told him, he's like, I don't know if you can still be my sponsor since I've basically disregarded what you said. But, and then Sherlock's like, would you like to go to a meeting? And he's like, go to a meeting right now? Sherlock's like, yeah, yeah. And so basically, Sherlock is willing to, even though he fell, even though he relapsed, to help him despite this. And I think that's telling of his Holmes, because in this episode he was very conflicted on what he was supposed to be doing here and how he could help somebody who was struggling with demons that he got, but he didn't know how to deal with it in a polite way, I guess. And he ended up having to be brash, and it made this thing happen. And so yeah, that was the episode in a nutshell. Yeah, it was a really good episode though. I really liked it, and I kind of freaked out when I heard the word magpie. I was like, oh my god, that's canon. That is canon ACD. I freaked out. I do that every time. It makes me happy. I love it. I love when that happens, and I just know, I know when it's happening. It just warms my heart. Rod Condor would be happy, I think, with all the different kinds of way people looping his Holmes pieces into their stories, and it's brilliant. I love it. So I'll see you guys in a couple days, because I'm not gonna do review. I know I've been doing them at weird times, so I don't have a day now. So whenever I get a chance, I will have tomorrow's review up soon. Hopefully, I pray. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, as I said in the beginning of the episode, and I'm also working, so stress, a lot of stress. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do some more things on my channel, because I don't know if some of y'all saw, I recorded a Sherlock poem song thing, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch it. But if you don't, that's cool. But I'll see you guys soon, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Bye.